Raya and the Last Dragon is the latest Disney animation to hit theaters and also be on Disney Plus for the premium access thing that Mulan was a part of, the $30 one. They're still doing that apparently. If you're watching this by yourself or maybe with a second person, it might be cheaper to just wear a mask and go see it in a theater, but if you have a big group of people or a family watching it, the $30 one is cheaper. So, I mean, either way, I think it's a better use of $30 than Mulan. So there's that, but really, whatever you want to do. This movie takes place in the fictional dystopian world of Kumandra, where these different factions used to live in harmony with each other with dragons. Dragons used to live amongst them and with them, and they all used to live peacefully, but then this enemy named the Droon came. And because of the fallout with these enemies, these dragons are no longer there. The factions are now all splintered off into these different sections. They have rivalries, they clash, they have wars with each other, and there's one girl named Raya, who is the princess of the faction Heart, who is going on a quest to hopefully restore what was damaged after the Droon affected them. I was really excited for this movie because I saw the teaser trailer, and that's literally all I saw as far as marketing goes. Everything else that showed a little bit more about the plot, I did not see. So I kind of went into this movie partially blind. Like, I knew, like, okay, the teaser trailer was kind of showing this off, but I didn't know anything else about the rest of the story, about what Raya was going to be doing. So I was really excited to see it all just unfold in front of me. Also, I was excited because the two directors on this thing, one of them did Big Hero 6, which is a Disney animated movie that I really enjoy. I thought it was really great. And then the other one didn't do an animated movie prior. They did a live action movie called Blind Spotting, a movie that I honestly, it's great. If you have not seen it or you've heard of it but you haven't had the chance to watch it, please check it out. Not too many people have heard of this or seen it, and it's really great. It deserves a lot of attention. When I saw his name was attached, I was like, holy shit, that's amazing. I did not know that, but I'm all in. I want to see this movie even more now. And this movie, like any other Walt Disney animation, is really incredible technically. But this time it's even more incredible because this movie was completed and I think mostly done with these animators working at home, animating from home, which is obviously, you know, because of COVID, it's been difficult on everyone, but I can't imagine how difficult it is for animators that are used to working in studios and working with other people, and now they're just splintered off into their homes and they gotta go on Zoom to share everything that they do. It must be crazy and insane, but they pulled it off. They made another Disney animation movie that feels like you can't necessarily tell if they were affected somewhat in production by COVID, which I know for like an animated project it's probably not that difficult, but you don't get a sense that there is any issues watching the movie. It still looks about as incredible as any other Disney animation would. Just like a lot of Pixar movies or Disney animations, there's at least one shot. There's at least one shot, at least as of lately, that always takes me out because I think I'm looking at live action. This movie has a shot like that, and I was like, God damn it, I once again am questioning if this is like a real thing or not. Amazing. You know, these animators definitely deserve a round of applause for everything they did on this movie. The buildings, the outfits, the character designs, the vibrant colors, the designs of the dragons, and our main one, the last one, Sisu. Everything looks great, and you're visually drawn to this world that they create. That's all very different in how these factions operate and each one they visit. But this movie also works because of the musical score by James Newton Howard. Even that was working, and it's very good. It's not like your traditional Disney animated scores. It's very different, but also very beautiful and actually very moving. He did a wonderful job with the music for this movie. It perfectly fit the tone and the kind of vibe of movie that they were trying to make. Also, what makes this movie stand out more so than any other Disney animation are the action sequences. They vary from like either like a chase scene or like a hand-to-hand fight scene or sword fight, and they're all very good. Each sequence, you know, has a varying level of intensity that I was honestly kind of shocked by. They did a wonderful job of putting these things together and actually kind of having me really invested because of the characters' fighting moves and how they adapted to certain things. It was all really engaging and really entertaining. Whether you want to see that in a theater though or at home, once again, I will leave that up to you. Personally, I think you can watch this at home and get like a similar experience. It won't be as big, but you'll get the gist of what they're going for. Either way, you know, either format you look at it in, it looks great. This movie also does a really great job having you entertained with our characters. First off, Raya, played by Kelly Marie Tran, is great. You know, the movie opens with her, you understand her plight, you understand what her driving force is, and Kelly Marie Tran handles this character really well. She's funny, she can be lighthearted with these other characters that she meets along the way, but you understand her seriousness. You understand her intensity and why she's so driven, and that's what makes this main character so engaging engaging, and I was really pleased with that. They do a really great job of, with the comedic relief characters entering the picture, they do a really great job of underscoring them with this dramatic element where, you know, this enemy, the Droon, has affected a lot of different people, and you understand a lot of these people are missing their families, they're missing their entire villages in some cases, and you understand, even though they're being funny, that there is some drama and some heart to them at the same time. They all bond really well over this too. There's this boat captain that they meet who is a little boy. He's also their guide and their chef, and he's really funny. He's played by the kid Soren in Good Boys, where Jacob Tremblay says fuck. And he does a really great job playing that character. He's the first one they meet, and I was really entertained by that character, and I thought he was a good addition. This baby and 3 monkeys who live in this town of thieves, pretty much, and they're like the biggest ones. They try to con Ray at one point. It was actually really funny. Funnier than I expected when it started. I was like, I hope this works in the end, and it did. You know, I was never annoyed by them. Very fun characters to watch. And then you have this ruffian played by Benedict Wong, who, like, you can tell, like, he hasn't really done anything, like, ruffian-like in a long time. So he's kind of lost as far as what to do, and he's, like, all by himself. And it's, you know, once again, they underscore it with some drama and heart, but they make him funny too. Benedict Wong is actually really hilarious, like in Doctor Strange and the Avengers movies that he's in, and even like Gemini Man, if you remember that, he was in it. And I was entertained by him, like, to some degree, because he had a couple jokes in there where I was like, okay, that's pretty funny. That's pretty funny, I'll give it to him. So it's good to see him playing a character that kind of resembles like what I view him as now, like this really like big, tough looking guy, but a sweetheart deep down. And then there's this character, this rival to Raya, named Namari, played by Gemma Chan, and you understand how deep their rivalry kind of goes and what this specific moment in their life has kind of done to them. I won't give anything away too much, but they are heavily tied to each other. And because of that, they carry a lot of the fight scenes, and it's the reason, other than just, you know, technically speaking, you know, they do a good job animating it, it's also a part of the reason why a lot of these fight scenes are as intense as they are, because you understand both sides. You understand why they're going at it as hard as they are, and you also understand that there's maybe a bit of mental manipulation with Namari, with Gemma Chan's character, that I found really interesting, and it all kind of builds to this ending, this theme that they're working on with trust. And I thought that character was a really good addition. I like seeing her. Where I'm going to start diving into my cons with this movie, though, is that I think they should have pushed it a bit more in regards to her mother, I believe is the character played by Sandra Oh. Because you kind of get the sense that her mother is the one who is pushing her to do certain things. They have these very small scenes where they kind of talk about, like, I've been training you to lead one day just like me, and stuff like that. And it's like, you know, I know you have this one scene where she says that, and then you have another scene where she's like suggesting something not right to her daughter. But I think they should have pushed it a bit more. I'm not saying we need like an over-the-top like human villain that someone needs to fight and take down, but we needed a bit more of an antagonistic presence other than Namari, because you come to understand that after a while Namari is kind of, she has a warped mindset. And a lot of it comes from her mother and the way she's manipulating her, because she's the leader of their faction and she's the one putting fear in Namari. But they didn't push it enough for me, and it also kind of stems back to the way this movie opens. They open with Raya narrating over what looks like storybook animation, or like the animation you'd see on like a Chinese scroll kind of thing, where she just narrates like, this is the backstory for our fractured civilization. And Disney has done this before. There's plenty of movies that do opening narrations that explain their worlds like this, and I've usually liked them because they flowed. But for this movie, I found it oddly clunky, and it didn't really do a good job establishing these factions beforehand, because it kind of all leads to this inciting incident in the beginning, like first 15 something minutes. And I was just like, I wish there was a bit more, like we saw a bit more of these different characters from these different factions. I wish that there was a bit more of what felt like a push towards it, especially with Namari's mother, because you do get the sense of like, you know, you point back to them like, you know, I'm not trying to point fingers, but this is kind of your fault at the end of the day. You know, a lot of this started because of this plan that you devised. And I was hoping that throughout the rest of the movie, they would push that angle a bit more, that her mother has been making decisions based off of fear and only for selfishness throughout, and it's manipulated her, and I don't think they pushed that enough. You kind of get a vague sense of that's going on. but they don't push it enough, especially when it comes to the ending of this movie. And I'm not gonna spoil it for you guys, but they act like as if everything is fine. There's no need for like apologies anywhere or facing consequences. Just everything is good because we trust each other now. That's the theme of the film, is just trust everyone, even if you don't want to. And it created an ending that I found just too like Disney sappy happy, that I was just like, the jaded cynical part of me that this movie doesn't want you to be, but that's me. I was watching it just going like, no, this isn't vibing with me at all. I understand the theme and why it's relevant and how it's important for children to understand. There is a lot of nuance and different avenues of trust that you could work into movies, though, that they don't touch on because it's a little too complicated for not just children, but also this movie's context. You know, it works fine for this movie's context, the climax of the movie, pretty much how they wave the theme in, but what happens afterwards and what they don't touch on, that I think, you know, that would be fine for a kid's movie to have too, they don't include, they don't talk about. And that kind of had me disappointed, because a lot of this movie, you know, is very different from a lot of other Disney movies that we've seen. It's also an original film. You know, and a lot of originals, they have a chance to really stand out and do something that we don't see Disney animated movies do a whole lot of. And this movie, despite it being an original idea, original concept, which is great original characters, there's still some storytelling decisions that I just ultimately don't really agree with. I saw what they're trying to do with it, and I understand what their theme is, but I don't think it came together as well as they think it did. There's also several lines of dialogue that are honestly really cringy to me, because there's only so many times I can hear characters just numerously talk about trust over and over. Like, every single character has at least one line of dialogue that has the word trust in it. There's no sentence where they talk about trust that doesn't feel like something that Raya has already said near the beginning of the movie. At a certain point, you need to start saying different words. You need to pull out a dictionary and finding some synonyms, because this isn't working after a while, because there's so many lines of people going like, I don't trust anyone. Why don't you trust anyone? Because I was betrayed by someone I trusted. I'll never trust again. We should never trust someone from Fang. We will never trust you again. I don't trust anyone at all. But you should trust people, because trusting people is great. But no, there's so much of that. And after a while, it's every time they said trust, you might as well like be taking a shot. I know kids are going to be watching this movie, but if you're an adult, you could literally make a drinking game out of like every time they say trust, take a shot. You will die, though, at the end of the movie. The last thing I kind of want to mention with this movie is Awkwafina as Sisu. Overall, I like this character. I like the writing they do for her and how they contrast like the dramatic element of her character with the other ones. Where the drama for the other characters, including Raya, the comedic reliefs, makes them harden and makes them cynical, the dramatic backstory for Sisu actually gives her encouragement, and it inspires her. You know, she's very hopeful and optimistic, and I like that kind of contrast. I like the character overall. There's plenty of jokes in this movie where Awkwafina definitely killed it. Like, there's definitely some really funny lines, and overall her vocal performance was pretty good, but there's some jokes in this movie, more noticeably than any other Disney movie that I've seen recently at least. Some of the jokes just didn't really work for me, and most of them that didn't work came from her, if I'm going to be honest. As much as I overall like that character, there's, I think, plenty of jokes that they could have cut out or they could have reworked to make them funnier. So as much as I did like that character, there was like every once in a while that one moment where I was like, okay, we gotta stop. Because at one moment, it just makes her character seem like a thundering dumbass. Like, I get that she's supposed to be naive to the world that is now, because she's been asleep for so long. But, like, there comes a part where she's just, like, they're trying to be funny, like, oh, she doesn't know what's happening, but she just seems stupid. She does that thing where a character is under stress and they're trying to hide a secret, and they just blurt something out. And then she's like, oh, wait, what did I just say? Forget I said that. We don't have that. Haha. And it's like, we're really doing this? Overall, I like this movie. It has very entertaining action sequences, very, very amazing animation, very good score by James Newton Howard, great voice acting all around. Awkwafina, Kelly Marie Tran, Gemma Chan, all these people do a really great job voicing these characters, and all of the comedic relief characters I thought were working too. Most of the humor works, which is great, but these other flaws that I mentioned honestly do kind of bog it down. As much as it's great to see an original film from Disney, you know, it's not a remake, it's not a sequel to something, and I think, as far as I know, no, this is a completely original idea and concept, which is obviously great. I'm really happy that the guy who made Blind Spotting got to work in animation. That literally took me off guard when I found that out, but that's great to see. But I honestly do think it could have been a little bit better. There's certain things that I think do bog it down from a narrative point of view, and also just certain ways that it's not bad writing, but there's bad lines in the movie. That's how I'll describe it. I'm gonna give Raya and the Last Dragon a B-. It's definitely still an entertaining film, though, that I can recommend. Either you can watch it in a theater or you can watch it at home. You'll kind of get the same kind of experience out of it, just one's in a larger auditorium and one's just in the comfort of your home where you might not get COVID. So make whatever decision you want. But what did you think of Raya and the Last Dragon? Leave in the comments below what you thought of it. And as always, thank you guys for watching. Make sure to subscribe. I'm Jackson Fulcher. See you guys next time.